Hi and welcome. It's Jenny from A Stamping Journey. This is a flip Z-fold card. Well, that's what I'm choosing to call it anyway. I created this card for my swap for our recent Onstage in Melbourne, and I thought I would show you how to create it yourself. This version is the Berry Burst. I also made it in Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather. And I have to say, the Berry Burst was the most popular. I was really surprised. With the Berry Burst, I have used the Delightful Floral Designer Series paper, the Gorgeous Grape, and the Highland Heather. I used the Perennial Lavender Designer Series paper. But you could choose whatever you'd like to do. So I'm going to show you as I go through the steps, and I'll show you some tips too. So let's get started. You'll find any of the products that you need in my store. The link is in the description on my YouTube channel, or you can message me and I'll send you in the direction. So I'm going to create a Gorgeous Grape. So you'll need a standard Gorgeous Grape base card. That is 14.8 centimeters by 21 centimeters. Score that at 10.5 centimeters, or 5.5 by 8.5, scoring it at 4.25. You'll also need a piece of designer series paper that you choose. Just a section depending on, make it a little bit larger than the die cut that you choose to use. You'll need a white card. I think it's nice adding the white inside for some extra stamping and writing on. So that piece is 14.4 centimeters by 10.1 centimeters, or 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 inch. And you'll need some extra card for die cutting, however you want to embellish it. I'm using card to coordinate with our Perennial Designer Series paper. So I've got pretty Peacock and the Highland Heather. So let's get started. Now for the front, for this shape, you can use any shape you like. It could just be a rectangle shape. It could be an oval shape or even a circle. I'm using the Countryside Corners dies for this one. The principle is the same, so I'll go through that. Now, you'll need to bring in your die cut machine. I'll just get these pieces out of the way. Now, you'll need to use the large die cut machine. The mini one won't be wide enough to put your card through. So you'll need your platform, number 1 and number 2, and your bottom plate. Use that one. It's a little scratched up, but it still works, so don't despair. So now what you want is position, hopefully you can see that, I should have showed you before. You're going to center that in your front of your card. Position that on the card. You can add some washi tape or some tape to stick it down if you like. So we'll just position that on the platform. Just center that. Then bring in your other top plate. Now feed it through this way first. And what you're going to do is line up. Just check that you can see this. Right. You're going to line up the end of this plate with about the center of the die. You don't want to position it over the whole die. So when you're happy with that placement, you'll run that through. So just give that a little push through to get it started. Always keep checking before it goes through that you're happy with the position. Now run that through. Now just to make sure it's guided on the other end, I actually went through and lifted that up on that end to feed it through so that it will catch okay. So we're just going to run that through, make sure it catches. It'll give it a bit of a crack, but that's okay. So you'll go right through, and you can keep going right through, it doesn't matter, it's not going to cut. Bring that back. I'll just get the die cut machine out of the way. This time we need a paper trimmer. So you're going to position that on here. Now you could mark halfway across here in pencil if you'd like to. It'll be about 5.2 centimeters or about 2 1/8. So I'm going to just position that here. And what you want to do, we don't want to cut it, we want to score. And so it should be about there. You can bring that in a little bit. You're not going to score the whole width of the card. You're just going to score in this section from the edge of the card to that cut point and from the top to there. So just give that a little bit of a run back and forward a couple of times. I'll lift it up to bring it back this way. So you can see the score lines here. Right, now we can get this out of our way. So we're going to fold this back on those score lines, and then we can fold that in. That gives you your basic flip card. What I liked to do is just add some little texture on this part of the fold. You could leave it as is, you could stamp it, but I've actually embossed with one of the embossing folders. I've used the stripe embossing folder, and it's good to have one of the narrow ones because that will work a little better. And put this into your card. So just these sections, you want to keep this cut part out. So I'm just going to slide that up a little bit more to make sure it's right in. And I'm also folding this card back under the folder, so it just makes it easier for going through the die cut machine. So we'll bring that back in and run that through. This time you'll just need your platform number 1. You're going to put your card with the embossing folder, so this just fits in nicely there. You could use a wider one, it's going to go down, it's not going to emboss it. So if you choose to do that, that's okay. Add your number 4, the dark plate on top, and we're going to run that through. There we have our embossing. See how just that texture that you get with it? It's so pretty. Now you'll have, put that aside, we're going to cut our other pieces out. Now I have a smaller size of the countryside corners, so whatever shape you're using, just use a smaller size die to cut your designer series paper. And I'm also, for this one, let's bring the berry burst. For this one, I have used the bow punch just to add some leafy details. For this card, I'm going to use the painted lavender and die cut these. So I'm going to just run that through the die cut machine now, and I'll be back in a moment. Here we have our pieces. Now I've also stamped a sentiment. This one's from the Translucent Florals, wishing you all the happiness in the world. And I've die cut it with one of the small dies in the Nested Essentials dies. Just this little banner shape, which is cute. Now we can put it all together. If I grab our white card that we're going to stamp on, it's just nice having an extra little addition inside when you open up the card. So just ink up this little flower lavender spray. Stamp that down the bottom. And we have a couple of butterflies up the top because you can just see them peeking through. I've used the gorgeous grape with that. Bring in our base. We're going to, you can put another greeting inside it. That's okay too. We're just going to leave it with that for now. Add our adhesive there. Now, as a little tip, if you get some excess card, you can dab it on some scrap paper, or if you've got a bit of off-cut of card, just get a little bit of card and just draw in that glue into the center so it's not going to ooze out of your card and make it a little messy. Have the inside. Do the same. We're going to stick this die cut piece out. It's nice having it die cut your paper just that little bit smaller because you get that coloured frame that's around there. For our flowers, so seal, that's already on there, and just put your leaves and your flowers just on there. You can fiddle with it, you can do as much as you like with that. You can leave that hanging. I'm actually going to trim that off a little bit. And we'll add some dimensionals to the back of that. Put that down there. And I like to finish it off with a little white bow. So using the baker's twine, just create a little bow. I'm just going to tie this slowly so you can see. I make 2 loops, cross over one on the other, get that loop and tuck it in down here on that bottom loop that you've created. It doesn't matter that you make it bigger because you can easily adjust that. Wiggle it till it's the size you want. I'm going to cut that off. Oops, don't want to cut that. And that's best to stick that down with some glue dots. So we'll add that to the front of your card. It's nice having that extra texture and softness with a little bow. So there's your gorgeous grape one. So bring that back in. So I'd love to know, what colour do you like best? You've got your berry burst, gorgeous grape. I'd love to know what your favourite colour is. So I hope you get to make one yourself. If you like this and you're watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to catch some other projects later, especially check out some of my other fun fold videos. If you're on Facebook, give it a like, maybe share it with your friends. So I hope to see you again in a later video. Thanks for joining me today. Happy crafting.